like weird cold water going onto my skin. It's Hey there, how are you? I hope you enjoyed your day. Thank you so much for taking the time to sit down and watch my standouts, tips, and shoutouts for the month of November. Got some cool things. I've shopped my stash. Maybe you have them too. Pull them out and rediscover them as favorites, or if you're in the market for some new products, here's some of my suggestions to go try out. So first off, I have to give a major shout out to Rory. You know her as vegasvixen here on YouTube. She is the queen of repressing makeup. She does all sorts of things to make eyeshadows that she loves, palettes that she loves, and she really caught my attention with her recent video on repressing 2 of her face powders, because I know if you've ever felt the tragedy of panning a powder, whether you've used an eyeshadow, a blush, highlighter, face powder, whatnot, and you get down to the bottom of the pan and it's hard to get whatever's in the exterior ring of the pan, or maybe you've dropped it on the floor and it's shattered, you can always fix your powder products by repressing them. The way that I was doing it before was I would crush up the powder and then I would pour in some isopropyl alcohol or surgical spirit, if that's how you refer to it. Then I'd stir it around and let it kind of evaporate a little bit to where it was more of a, I guess, a mud consistency, and then I would repress it down to where it was nice and flat along the bottom. Rory really kind of changed the game with that for me, because instead of pouring in isopropyl alcohol, she spritzes it, then crushes up the powder and spritzes it again, and then presses it down into the bottom of the pan. It works so much better. I actually tried that method as I repressed slate, because one of the complaints of repressing shadows is that the texture changes. And if you pour too much alcohol in it, it does make the powder a little bit more chalky. You have a little bit more fallout. It takes a lot longer to dry. And so Rory's way is the best way, because it literally doesn't change anything about the shadow. I'll show you here with slate. There wasn't much of slate to begin with when I repressed it, so I did, kind of take out in the middle again. But this time from repressing it, I have not changed the texture of the eyeshadow when I spritzed it, then crushed it up, then spritzed it, stirred it, and pressed it again. I mean, it literally has come out just as beautiful, just as pigmented as it did before. I didn't have to wait, hours before I was able to use the shadow. It worked really, really well. So I have to give a major standout to Rory, because I know a lot of us are kind of doing it the way that I did it before, where we're pouring in alcohol and pressing it, and it works, but this is a little bit better. If you're wondering kind of how I repress my shadows, if you buy the Sephora Z palettes, they come with these kind of X-Acto knife looking things. They have like a sharp pointed end on this side and then a flatter end here. I use this to crush up the powder, and then usually I'll just kind of take my finger and like a paper towel to press it down and kind of get that excess alcohol off. The spritzing method, what I did with this, with slate, is I have isopropyl alcohol in a little travel size bottle I got from Target. I spritzed it twice, crushed up slate, and then I spritzed it twice again, stirred it around, and repressed it into the bottom of the pan with a paper towel. Worked like a dream. So if you don't have a little sharp tool like this, you can always use a paring knife, or you can use a pen lid, whatever kind of sharp or blunt kind of pointed thing that you can get into these smaller pans, especially if you're trying to repress eyeshadow. If you're doing powders and stuff, you can go with something a little bit bigger, but I've been using this for quite a while. So thank you, Rory. That is total game changer. seriously, because now I don't have to worry about having crazy fallout with my products and changing textures. So I wanted to share that tip with y'all. And then second off, blushes that I've just been loving. I really wanted to pull out the berry tones from my collection, because I've been panning slate. The 2 that I can't get enough of the past month, I'm continuing it on through December, is the first one is, can I talk today? It is the Tarte Amazonian Clay Blushing Bride Blush. It's just a beautiful kind of everyday berry shade. I am currently wearing it on my cheeks. It gives a beautiful flush to the skin, and I also use this in my crease area to warm up the look so that slate is not so stark and just drastic. especially if you see what I'm wearing today. I've got on slate and then I'm wearing kind of an olive green top, and at first glance you would think those two things don't go together, but when you warm up slate in your crease, it actually works as more of a neutral makeup instead of being like dark and smoky. You can wear it with any color that you want and it's not going to be just crazy loud and obnoxious, you know what I mean? But moving on with the blush is the second berry blush that I can't get enough of, and I now associate this with Stacy or Strawberry Sweet because she used this in a makeup basket last year, and when she was using it during those 2 weeks, I'm like, I really need to pull that out and use it because it's beautiful. It is the MAC Mineralized Blush in the shade Gentle. It's another berry shade. This one is a little bit lighter than Blushing Bride, has some gold kind of flecks to it. As you can see, I mean, it's almost a little bit peachier tone because here's the Blushing Bride, here is Gentle. It just gives a beautiful flush to the skin. I get a very similar look, so I kind of have an idea what my makeup's going to turn out like when I do it. So I've been alternating between these two blushes, really kind of favoring this one because I want to knock a dent in this and take off at least the Tarte and the design on the top, because that takes forever in these blushes. I've been working at this for weeks and I still haven't taken off the top of it. So wanted to bring those out if you're looking for some fall appropriate blushes or looking for some blush that'll work with gunmetal type shades. Those are beautiful. Then as far as the rest of the makeup, I'm going to talk about an outstanding product. It is the Wet n Wild Idolize Cream Shadow Pencil in the shade Pixie in particular. This is the pencil version of the Maybelline Color Tattoo and Barely Branded, if that's one of your favorites. It is easy to wear on the eyes. It's that beautiful metallic creamy shade. I actually prefer the formulation of this more than the Maybelline Color Tattoo just because it's easier to apply. I don't have to worry about it looking crepey on my eyes during the day, and also too, I can visibly see the changes in this as I sharpen it. If you go to Walgreens right now, I don't know if they're phasing this particular product out. I know a lot of the Wet n Wild Fergie stuff is being phased out, but I did see these buy one get the next one 50% off if you go to Walgreens. So this is the shade Pixie, my favorite ever, ever, ever. I don't need to buy backups because I bought backups when I initially bought it, what, last year? I don't remember when I bought this. It's been a while, but I already have backups at home. But if you like a shade like this or you want a pencil version of that Barely Branded Color Tattoo shade, this is worth checking out, and it's less than $2. And I think if you even buy, maybe it's even $1 something, and if you buy it 50% off for the second one, you're going to get it below $1. So it's worth it, so worth it. And then as far as nails, I found my new holy grail base coat of all time. It is the Orly Bonder Rubberized Base Coat. I don't have my nails painted currently because I finally wanted to give them a break, because after discovering this product, I was painting my nails nonstop and I didn't want them to look yellow and gross. So we're going to take off about a week and then I'll start painting them again. But this is awesome. The biggest problem nail polish I have personally is Essie nail polish. When I paint my nails, it chips within several hours of me painting it. This has helped even the Essie nail polish to stay on my nails. That makes it holy grail in my book because, you know, if it works with the Essie, I know it's going to work with the Revlon, with OPI, with, oh gosh, I can't even think of what, Sally Hansen, some of these other brands that I have. This is awesome. You find it at your drugstore. Holy grail. Holy grail status if you're looking for a new base coat. And then as far as top coats, I've really been, you know, gravitating toward the Seche Vite top coat because I finally ran out of my Revlon top coat. I loved that. Not holy grail status kind of love, but you know, I got to where I was used to it. But the Seche Vite I prefer, but I noticed even when I didn't wear the Seche Vite and I wore just the Orly rubberized base and like Essie nail polish in particular, I didn't have any chipping problems. So this is good stuff. And all right, and lastly, we're gonna go a little TMI. I wanted to share a deodorant that I've really been enjoying. Is that a weird word for deodorant? But I kind of go back and forth because I like natural deodorants as opposed to antiperspirants. I can't go without an antiperspirant during the summer because I live in Houston. It gets super hot here, and you don't want to walk around nasty with like gross body odor and just feeling filthy. You know what I mean? So I really am a fan of the La Vanilla deodorant, but it's stupidly expensive for what it is. I'm not gonna lie. I've tried a bunch of natural deodorants via the drugstore. I found some that work okay. I found some that I didn't like at all. And this time around, it's not cold here in Houston, but it's, you know, cool enough that I can get away without wearing an antiperspirant, but still hot enough that I can see how this is going to really work. You know what I mean? Because you're still going to sweat a little bit and be outside and it's sunny. You're still wearing t-shirts. So the product that I've really been enjoying is the Crystal Essence Lavender and White Tea Mineral Deodorant Roll-On. You can find these at your local grocery stores. I really appreciate this because it does not have aluminum in it. I don't know if you have any skin sensitivities. I have some hormone issue imbalances because of my Hashimoto's. I have Hashimoto's thyroiditis. And so a lot of times if my thyroid is out of whack, I notice that I get eczema patches and all sorts of weird things going on with my skin, especially in my underarm area. It's the darndest thing. Like, I don't even know. So if I can stay away from aluminum products, I notice that I do a whole lot better when I start kind of going through that really weird shift with my thyroid stuff. So, you know, if you're kind of battling the same issues, this is a product worth checking out. It does come with a roll-on top, and it has a liquid that comes out, so it takes a little bit of getting used to when you apply it and you're like, like weird cold water going onto my skin. It's a little, but it works. You don't have to worry about smelling during the day. You don't have to reapply it during the day, because that's the other thing that's kind of annoying about natural deodorants is you'll go home halfway through the day and you'll be like, if I smell that, what's everybody else smelling? So I don't have to worry about that with this. And it's worked really well, considering that now we've been in the 80-degree range for the past couple of weeks. It finally dropped down into the 70s and 60s, and now we're climbing back up again. So I'm really interested to see how this is going to respond as it gets hotter and hotter and hotter in the spring and summer, because I went on and decided to repurchase this so that I stay with the natural deodorant kick for a while. But do not expect it to keep you from perspiring completely. That's the other thing that people kind of get a little bit, it takes a shift in your thinking if you're trying to go from natural deodorant back to antiperspirant and then back to natural deodorant. You'll think the natural deodorants never work, but it's really your body chemistry is freaking out every time you go to the natural products, because you're no longer clogging the pores in your skin and your underarm area. So I don't know, weird TMI, that just went in a whole nother direction, but that's about it for now. I'd love to hear the products that you've been loving this month, because I'm definitely, like, I'm, you know, staying in my stash. I'm definitely shopping around and trying to rediscover favorites. I found a lot of nail polish favorites that I've been loving and enjoying wearing, and, you know, just body care and things. I'm going through and finishing up the last of a lot of things. So I hope that you enjoyed this. Be on the lookout. I've got some more coming your way, and I'll be seeing you soon. Bye.